Hiya folks, JD here, and today I thought I'd give you my final thoughts on the MJX X104G. Alright, so I've done a fair few flights on this particular quad. As you've seen, I think we've done 3 or 4 flights this week, and today we're going to be recapping over some of the footage and some footage you haven't seen before as well. So I've been out with this quad practically every single day since I had it, which was last Wednesday last week. And I've taken it out, I've charged up both the batteries, I've gone pretty ballistic with it and I've hit it quite hard. So far it has put up with everything I've thrown at it, but there have been quite a few little niggly things which are niggly, and they're not massively annoying, but at the same time it is something that I'm not used to out of MJX quadcopters, so therefore I'm going to list them. So let's start off right at the beginning, the packaging. Packaging in the box is fantastic, looks very nice. They've used a lot of polystyrene. I really don't like that, but still, that's just my personal preference. I'd much rather they use something that is biodegradable or something that it just isn't plastic or polystyrene. Then we get on to what is inside the box, the contents. Everything's fine, no problem at all. A nice manual, as we used to with MJX, that explains everything, goes through everything in pretty good English with some really nice images as well. Then we get on to the actual transmitter. Transmitter is a very standard MJX transmitter, works extremely well, nice range, nice buttons, great feel in the hand, nice weight to it as well, takes 4 AA batteries, all in all just a good transmitter. Then once we take the quad out, we've got the calibration process, so 2 calibration process, one for the GPS compass, and one then for the gyro. Compass calibrates pretty quickly. It's very simple. The lights are very, very easy. If you turn the quadcopter one way 3 times, and then the lights turn green, and then lift the quadcopter up with the camera facing the sky, and twist 3 times again, then you have the red LEDs at the front and the green LEDs at the back, and they're solid. It's calibrated within a couple of seconds. Down and to the bottom left to calibrate the gyro, no problem whatsoever. So everything so far is very, very straightforward, very easy, and has worked without a hitch. Then we come on to the app. The app itself is one I've not used with MJX before. It's called MJX GPS. Had to download it new. It's a free app. You can get it on iOS and on Android, no problem at all. Now, this is where the problem started. I started to have issues mid-flight of the app disconnecting. So the app itself would say aircraft disconnected, even though I still had the Wi-Fi connected with a pretty good signal. And just before the app disconnected, I had full FPV. Now, there is lag in the FPV, but I'm not sure at this stage, because I've tested on Android and iOS, I get exactly the same results. Now, I'm not sure if that is the quadcopter or if it's the devices. I'm leaning towards the quad because I know my iPhone 8 and I know my 2 Android devices, one being my Huawei tablet and the other one being my Huawei Honor 10. I know they are good devices and they're up to date without there being any issues at all, because I've used them with loads of other quadcopters as well. Now, that is one niggly thing. So MJX, please put a bit more effort into your app, make it more stable, and actually give us a bit more features with it as well. When I was using the app, I do have quite big man fingers, but I found it quite strange and quite difficult on the waypoints to actually push any of the buttons. I couldn't push submit properly, I couldn't push cancel or delete properly. Therefore, I had to push it 3 or 4 times before any of my actions were actually recognised. So coming off the app, those are my main niggles about the app. Now, the second thing is the 1-key takeoff. That worked quite well. Every single time I clicked it, it took off. Every single time when I was flying, I clicked it again, it landed, no problem. The unlock button, that sometimes stuck. So I pushed it twice and didn't have any response of it. So far, that's only happened once and I haven't been able to do it again. And I pushed it the 3rd time and then the motor started. Now, I did look for an alternative motor combination with the analog sticks. That doesn't seem to exist. So it's a bit annoying, but as I say, it's only happened once. I haven't been able to find that issue again. Then we come on to the other buttons on the transmitter. So you've got your photo and your video button. That one is so annoying. So you've got a single click to take photo, works, no problem. And you've got a click and hold to record video. Make sure you have an SD card inside your quadcopter before you do this. Otherwise, it's going to show you it's recording, but it isn't going to record anything because obviously it doesn't have a medium to record onto. So when you take a photo is taken, no problem. When you click and hold, the video starts, and then you click and hold again to stop the video. Now once I clicked and held, and the video didn't stop, so I turned off the transmitter and the quadcopter, and of course, like all the other quadcopters on the market, I lost my video. So that only happened once. I think it was the same flight that I had issues to unlock the quadcopter as well. So maybe the quad was just having a funny 5 minutes, but it was most certainly on the same flight. But I just thought I'd mention it because again, it's a very niggly thing. And once you've been flying for 12 minutes, I have found that it does get to me a little bit when I come home and there's no footage there for me to look over. Now, as we're talking about the 12 minutes of the battery, that's something that did stand out to me as being not a very long time. Now, this MJX quadcopter, as I've explained in past videos, isn't a premium range quadcopter, it's more of a budget range. But at the same time, I do expect to have a little bit more than 12 minutes flight. Yes, it's not terrible, not at all. Maybe I'm just spoilt for the last 2 or 3 months when we've been flying quadcopters with over 15 to 20 minute times. So maybe it's that, but I just think that maybe a couple more minutes, maybe take it up to the 15-minute mark, and I think I'd be happy. In saying that, to contradict myself, on most of the flights I have had 13 minutes of flight. So again, really it's not really a big thing, it's just what I find a bit niggly. Then once we finish with the battery, the only other thing I've got to say is that I've enjoyed the quadcopter on the whole. The features I found worked generally. I had much better luck with Follow Me on Android and Orbit on Android. As soon as I switched back to iOS on my iPhone 8, Follow Me didn't work and Orbit just went absolutely berserk. So it could be something to do with the device, because it does say within the app that Follow Me the quadcopter does hook onto your phone, and basically it'll just follow the Wi-Fi signal. It'll look for a particular decibel limit, and it'll stay within that limit to follow your smartphone. So there could have been an issue with my smartphone at the time I've tried it. I have tried this 3 times. I have been able to replicate the issue, so I do think it's an issue either with the smartphone or with the smartphone app. That being said, other Follow Me functions on other quadcopters have worked for me once you get into the DJI range, but generally they haven't worked for me in the past, being that, not working that well. So Android users, rejoice, you've got Follow Me and you've got Orbit. That's tested by myself, and that's what I found. iOS users, maybe there's an update that's going to come out for the app. Maybe it's going to fix it. Maybe it's just not going to be fixed. Maybe it's a hardware restriction, in which case it may not ever be fixed. That being said, those 2 functions are not something that I ever use. I know I keep on sounding like a stuck record with these two subjects, but at the same time, it's not something I look for. What I look for is a camera that takes photos, takes video, and the quadcopter that flies. Anything else, pretty much, I'm not interested in. But at the same time, I know a lot of people are. That's why I keep on doing these tests, to show you exactly what these are like. Waypoints. Now, I do use waypoints, and I have found that the majority of times waypoints on most quads just works. And this is no different. You get a nice little map. Obviously, it does help if you go into Google Maps and download a section of the map first, just so that you've got it offline, should you be using a tablet or something that doesn't have a cellular connection. Once you agree to let the app use your GPS location, then you can use waypoints. And once again, I tried in the video a couple of days ago to make various waypoint circles, starting off small and getting progressively larger. I didn't have any issue with it, it just worked, so I think that's fantastic. What I use waypoints for is long videos of a particular subject. So if I'm looking at an old tree, for argument's sake, because I love nature and I love photography, and that is a second big pastime of mine, and stock images. So what I do is I go out, I'll take a load of photos and whatever else, I'll edit them, I'll manipulate them a little bit, I'll add some filter, and I'll use waypoints for that, just to hover a quadcopter in one area, and also then for it to go around a particular tree, or to go around a particular cluster of trees, or something like that, just as an example. That being said, again, I did say in the flight vid that I didn't recommend this quad. I do find it very difficult to recommend when it does work on Android and doesn't work on iOS. That being said, it's £79, it's a GPS quad, it has got brushed coreless motors, which a lot of people may think is a bit of a downside. Personally, I thought they were nice and quiet, very responsive. They didn't get warm after both flights that I had, which gave me an accumulative time of 22 minutes. That being said, if it's your thing, if you just want a quadcopter to fly, I think it's great. If you want a quadcopter to use features, then stay the hell away, because as I've shown you in the past videos, they haven't worked on every single environment, on every single device rather. So yes, if you want a bit more of an a bit more of a premium class quadcopter, but you're not willing to spend £200, £300, £400, then look at the MJX Bugs range. There are loads of different ones there, like the 2C, the 2SE, the Bugs 3, the Bugs 3 Mini, just to name a few. And they are all good quadcopters, but not all of them come with GPS. So make sure you read exactly what features it comes with, so you know what you're getting in your quadcopter. Alright then, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this and this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD, you've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.